What's going on, YouTube? I'm back, and today we are reviewing someone's gameplay on Eichenwald defense, and he's playing Soldier 76 here. Me personally, I like to play Zarya on this choke point just because there's so much spam, and Zarya is insane when there's spam because you get free high charge. So one thing I do notice right off the bat here, our friend here, his team just got the opening pick, and we're going to see how he handles that. So, as you can see, his team got the opening pick, and he decided to back up. You saw up here, their Junkrat just killed the enemy team's Zenyatta, and he chose to back up. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, necessarily, but you can see Pharah's behind. Now, their Zenyatta's dead, remember that. You see the Winston jumps in. Now, you chose to go backwards and fight the Winston. Now, that's not a terrible strategy. That's definitely defensible. I don't know what you were thinking, what you've dealt with in the past, but me personally, I would have stayed at the choke point here and told my teammates to push into these squishies that are still in the choke point. You see, Winston is their main tank, and they're already a man down, and their Pharah is all the way behind doing nearly nothing. Now, think about it. Their main tank is over here, their Pharah is all the way behind them as well, and their Zenyatta is busy respawning. So, if you just tell your teammates to push these squishies here, you could easily just destroy them with your numbers advantage alone. It doesn't even matter what your comp would be at that point. Just off your numbers alone, you just steamroll them. You see your Junkrat just got another kill. It's fine. You're not making a wrong play necessarily. Here's one thing I also noticed right here with this Helix rocket that you shot at the Pharah. You always want to close with the Helix. You don't want to engage with it unless the target's staying still. See, ideally, so say you hit your Helix, right? Say you hit the best Helix in the world on this Pharah. She's just going to run away and then get out of line of sight. But if you don't shoot your Helix, you're going to bait her into making herself vulnerable. She's going to think what she's doing is safe, and then you burst her down with the Helix after you've already gotten her weak, and then you finish it off. That's what I do typically against players like this. But this is good. I don't mind this at all. You're wasting a lot of time back here with this Pharah. At my level of play, if you do this, my team usually dies at the choke point, and then I ask myself why I play Overwatch, and I ask myself why this game is so hard, and why I can't ever get better teammates. But it's not a big deal because your Junkrat is doing very, very well over there in the choke points. And that Pharah just outplayed you so badly. There's not really much I can say there. Your Mercy's pocketing you, and you still didn't manage to kill that Pharah. That is 100% on you. You got outplayed there. It's fine. I would probably just work on better positioning. That's personally why I don't like to focus Pharah when I'm Soldier 76. It's a big nuisance to focus Pharah, and during that time when I'm running around like an idiot trying to focus the Pharah, my team is losing the team fight because they have no damage. And then I get blamed for doing no damage, and that's just the way she goes. Your Junkrat is playing really, really well. So don't try to over-focus Pharah, and always be like, think about the big picture more often. Don't just go for Pharah because Soldier 76 is good against Pharah. You always want to make the right play at the right time, not just because some Overwatch guide you saw on YouTube said you should focus Pharah. Always just make the right play. Don't overthink it. Right here, you chose to switch targets for some reason. Now, Soldier 76 does sustain damage as opposed to burst damage. So it's very important for you to focus down one target at a time. And you have a Lucio here who's squishy, and it looks like he doesn't even know where you are. So that's definitely who I would focus. You can see your Helix is coming back in 1 second. I would probably shoot him, get him weak, and then finish him with the Helix. You didn't shoot your Helix. You left him full health, and then the Ana is barely weak, and then you shot your Helix at Ana. You switched targets there for literally no reason at all. There was no reason to switch targets there, but you chose to for some reason. But it's fine. Looks like it's working out. I love playing against Orisa Soldier 76 when you get a flank on her because she's so vulnerable. This is good. I like this. Pretty standard play there. Obviously, you're just going to push up there and kill that Ana. What else would you do? Now, right here, I would probably just be putting some pressure up here on the high ground instead of just standing here in this choke point. mainly because Pharah is going to make your life miserable if you stand right here. Not to mention, they also have a Zenyatta who could burst you down with one right charge click. And you just never know. Standing in a choke point like this is never really ideal, to be honest with you. And your teammates keep getting picks at the choke points, but you just are focused on this Pharah. Now, like I said, it's not necessarily the wrong play doing this, but it's just not ideal. As you can see, while this is all happening, you're really leaning on your teammates a lot, and it seems to be working, so you're doing something right, but you're leaning on your teammates a lot. So if you start to lose, remember, that's why, because you're not with your team. This is good. I like this. You're regrouping with your team. You're focusing on that Winston.
Right side.
You guys, I always try and tell you guys the value of high ground, and this just goes to show you why it's so valuable. If you were up here on high ground, and I'm not saying that you should have been up there because that would have been a really good play by you, but if you were up there, if you could have saw this situation coming, you could have dealt with this whole situation much easier than you have. But it looks like it's going to turn out really good for you anyways. And that Pharah, by the way, on the other team is awful. So here's one thing I always like to say to players. Don't focus the Pharah right away. Remember, Pharah has to earn the right to be focused. Now, obviously, if she comes within your sight, you shoot at her. But don't go around chasing her around the map if she's not contributing much. That Pharah hasn't done anything. She hasn't earned anyone's respect. She hasn't earned the right to be focused by you yet. So I would just keep picking on those squishies. Their Orisa, their Lucio, their Anna, who just seem to just want nothing. Like, they just don't even care about you for some reason. They just never even know where you are. Now, right here, you're still just standing instead of getting the high ground. Your team just got 3 kills. 3 members of the enemy team are down, and you're backpedaling for some reason. You should have just already been in this building, focusing on high grounds, and not playing so passively. You just give them so much of the map for free. Even right here, honestly, you should have went high ground right here, and that's what I would have done. You see, you have a choice here: high ground or not high ground, and you chose to not go high ground. Your teammates are already in this room here, engaged in a fight. They don't need you to be in there. They need you to come from a different angle, so when they force the enemies away, they're going to pop out right here. And then if you're on high ground, you'll be able to clean them up really easily. But instead, you chose to run in here, which isn't terrible, but there just really is no point. It's just diminishing returns. You don't need 3 heroes in there at one time. You want to spread out and use high ground just a little bit. That was a good kill on Lucio, and always nice to chip down Pharah when she shows herself. So everything's working out. And you see how Pharah used her ultimate there? If you see, you ignored high ground again right there for some reason, which, like I said, we're process oriented here. You definitely should have gotten high ground. After you were done shooting this Pharah, you should have went straight for high ground. But you dropped down. It's not a terrible play because there's only 5 seconds left. But imagine this. Imagine if you went on high ground right here, and imagine if this Pharah's ultimate killed your Reinhardt here because, say, for example, his shield was already weak. Imagine if that Pharah kills you and the Reinhardt instantly, and then, say, for example, the other team had a Mercy, and then Mercy comes in, reses the enemy team, you're both dead, your team dies, you lose that choke point, and then the game continues, and then you feel really silly. If you would have been on high ground here, this Pharah would have been no threat to you at all. So just always get the high ground as much as you can, and just be patient and think about every action you take, and always think about where the team fight is going. Remember, you don't want to go to where the team fight is. You want to go to where the team fight's going, if that makes sense. Not to be philosophical and cheesy, but remember, you always want to be playing with some amount of foresight, because this game is very predictable. It's you play in this choke, get picks, push in. It's very repetitive. And you want to master the flow and the rhythm of Overwatch, so you always know where to be at the right time. And right here, a person who's never played Overwatch before, who's new to FPS games, would be standing exactly where you're standing because they have no experience. They're just on the ground, even though there's high ground over there and there's high ground behind us and there's a balcony. There's 3 different types of high ground you could gain right now, but you chose to be just on the point, and it all worked out, and there's nothing wrong with that by any means. But remember, we're process oriented here and everything's working out fine. And to be honest with you, I do notice that you're having a pretty good game here, and I remember telling you guys very specifically, don't send me your games if they're really good games, and I can tell this is not an average game from you. You're probably about to push in here and stomp them and then win the match. So remember guys, when you send me these videos, always be sure to send me your average games. Remember, I don't want to see your really good games. You're not going to impress me. I promise you, you will not impress me. And don't try to impress our subscribers here on this channel. Don't try to impress me. Don't try to show off. We don't care. We're just all trying to improve, and I'm trying to improve. And when I review your guys' gameplays, it even teaches me good habits. I think you can always learn new stuff. Even from, like, I'm a Grandmaster player, you're a Platinum player. I could learn stuff from you, and I don't say that in some cheesy cliche way. I truly mean it. I learn things from enemies in quick play. I learn things from professional players. So with that being said, let's see what the team composition is going to be here. This looks like a good comp that your team's about to run. Let's see what you actually end up going with. So you're running triple DPS, and you're running Hanzo, Pharah with Soldier 76. Now, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but me personally, at this point, you want to go Tracer, right? Because Pharah is going to do poke damage, and then Hanzo is going to do poke damage, and then Soldier 76 is going to do poke damage. So all the enemy team needs is a Reinhardt and a Diva, and she basically counters 3 of you. Boom, 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 3 of you countered. You should definitely go Tracer here. Now, there's nothing wrong with running triple DPS, but there is something wrong with running triple DPS to basically all do the exact same thing. So imagine this. You go Tracer. Now the enemy team has to deal with a Pharah in the sky, a Hanzo doing poke damage from the choke point, and a Tracer running around in their backline and being annoying. It's like a trifecta of effective DPS, and they all complement each other very nicely with Hanzo's Sonic Arrow. So I probably wouldn't stay Soldier 76 here, just so it's going to be more annoying for the enemy team to play against. Always keep in mind, you want to keep your team comp as versatile as possible and try and give yourself like a triple-pronged attack. If you're playing against this team comp right here, and you're on defense, imagine how easy it would be. You know where Hanzo's going to be, you know where Soldier's going to be, and then you just got to keep an eye on Pharah, and it's going to be pretty easy to contain. But swap out the Soldier 76 for a Tracer, and you're going to have a great time. But it might work out here, because it seems like the other team doesn't really know what they're doing, to be honest.
Just fall back there because everyone's dying.
That was a crazy play that that Junkrat made, but it seemed to work out.
Me and Pharah behind.
See, that's just unfortunate. And remember, you always got to ask yourself what's going to happen. Like right here, like one thing I noticed with you is you have a good shot and you know what to do when you're shooting at a target. You usually execute well, but it seems like you lack the foresight to know what's going to happen. For example, what did you really think you were going to get out of this engagement? You saw Soldier 76, you got him weak, and you know that your team is already 2 dead, but you chose to stay here. And then you see Winston here, and you didn't... I mean, there was only one way that was going to end. Standing there like that, you have nowhere to run, you have no cover. You're better off just to push around, go back up here, go use these stairs, and then you actually have a position of power up here where you can easily just, if you start taking damage, you can just back up and then use your robotic field and then heal up. But that's just a really nitpicky thing, so I'm not going to worry too much about that.
I was so close.
Respawning here, your team is 3 dead.
Okay.
So every time my team goes 3 dead in this situation, I just always try to do as much damage as I can just to charge my ultimate. One thing I noticed, you try and go for a lot of direct hits with your Helix rockets. There's no problem with that, but me personally, I usually try to just shoot them at the enemy's feet. If you can hit them at the feet, your accuracy with your Helix will go up. This is a good play. I like what you're doing right here. You're behind them, but you're not overextending either, because right now you can still be a nuisance and you can still retreat right now, and you haven't overextended yet. This is good. I like this. You just have to wait for your team to put a little bit more pressure. Personally, right here, I don't know why right here, you should just be spamming that Reinhardt shield. So right after this, you see, just start unloading on this Reinhardt shield. Don't stop shooting at it. Just keep the whole time. See right here, you just completely stop shooting at it. Like, you gotta break that shit, but instead you chose to flank. I don't see the point in this flank, to be honest. I don't see where this is gonna go. Your team's dead. You're pushing up all by yourself up here. At my level of play, you're just gonna get shut down instantly. They're just gonna come up here. They're gonna dive up here and just kill you easily. But as you can see, the enemy team doesn't really know what they're doing. And it just goes to show you why I don't want you guys to send me your best games because of stuff like this. I mean, you're making a mistake here, and you're not even getting punished for it. So there's less for me to teach when you play against, when you have games of this caliber. There's just not much here that I can really help you improve on. But right here, you're relying on your team a lot, is what I'm trying to say. They're alone at the choke point trying to fight. And now it looks like they're engaged. And they use Transcendence for your visor. This is a good ultimate. I like this. Now, if I was you, I would probably stay on high ground. I wouldn't drop down for any reason. So I like what I'm seeing right here. This is all good. But listen, man, I can tell one thing for certain. You sent me this video because this is one of your better games. In the future, if you want to send me more gameplays, I would really, really appreciate it if you didn't send me good games. I just want to see your average games, and even games where you perform poorly, so we're gonna have more content to dig our hands into, so to speak. I can tell this is one of your better games. If you try and tell me this is how you play all the time, you would not be platinum, I promise you. But it was still a good video, and you still made a couple mistakes. We all make mistakes. Even I make mistakes. Even every player at every level still makes mistakes. So with that being said, if you guys want to send your videos in to get them reviewed, please email them to me. I'll put the email down below. You can DM me on Instagram. You can DM me on Twitter. You can tweet them at me. You can personal message me on Twitch. You can even leave a link to it down below in this video in the comment section. So I hope that this video can help you guys improve. And it's always good to refresh myself with some of the fundamentals that you hear me preaching all the time. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this video, and please send me more in the future, because I'm going to do this way more often in the coming few weeks. So I hope you guys like it, and thank you so much for watching.